Hospitals are faced with some very tough decisions, more now than ever. The Affordable Care Act, for example, has brought with it a host of challenges for healthcare organizations, and unless drastic cost and reimbursement measures are implemented, profitability could be a thing of the past. Take Robert, for example. Robert is the CFO of a hospital with annual net revenues of $500 million. Robert is no slouch. He got where he's at because he works hard to manage his revenue cycle. But now his forecast is troubling, his time more scarce. He's feeling uncertainty like never before. Robert has a great personal relationship with his vendors, but what he didn't realize was that behind every vendor lurked a stealthy example of mismanagement. When Robert looked a little closer, he discovered that his vendor costs had risen while his collections had not. In the meantime, he and his staff were overwhelmed with solicitations from vendors that promised the world. Robert immediately gathered his revenue cycle team, who each were responsible for their own vendors. What he quickly discovered was that although his staff received reports and were in contact with their vendors, they were so engulfed in their internal responsibilities that they missed vendor inefficiencies. Keeping track of each vendor was difficult due to restricted budgets and limited staff. So while costs piled up and demands began to grow, Robert needed an answer. That's when Robert found Healthfuse. Healthfuse is the modern-day solution to vendor management. Not only have they saved hospitals an average of $3 or $4 million per year, they don't get paid unless they drive yield, cost savings, and increase net recoveries. Robert quickly realized he had nothing to lose, yet everything to gain. Healthfuse committed to a 4-month turnaround period, and they didn't waste any time uncovering multiple improvement opportunities. The first thing Robert noticed about Healthfuse was their passion to impact positive change. Healthfuse found that 30% of Robert's placed accounts were not even being worked. Robert found that vendors do what you inspect, not what you expect. Phone calls weren't made, invoicing was off, and summary bills weren't sent timely. In addition, Healthfuse was able to bring the cost of collection down, while Robert saw an increase in revenue. Even the vendors were amazed. Once vendors embraced the Healthfuse way, they realized that operating with new efficiencies brings greater rewards to all. In the end, Healthfuse was not only able to provide one point of contact for vendor management, they also served as a resource for selecting new vendors. Within the first year, Robert's vendor costs dropped by 20%, and he also noticed an increase in vendor performance by 30%. This resulted in an increase of profitability by over 50%. Oh, and by the way, 10% of what Healthfuse gains is put right back into the community. The hospital wins, the vendors win, and the community wins. Healthfuse. Get more, spend less, with one source. To learn more, visit our website at www.healthfuse.com or call 414-988-1130.